Good morning. Just going to have a quick look over the markets at some potential opportunities for the remainder of the session. The first market that I have marked up here is the Nasdaq, and while we came lower overnight into the morning, we've seen a bit of a recovery. This morning as well, we saw a comment from Mnuchin saying that US had productive trade meetings with China. Now that's probably attributed to us moving higher this morning, but the area that I like the look of for the short anyway, we'd obviously have to see a bit of a negative turn, perhaps when the US come to the market, perhaps after the open as well, would be of a break of this trend line. Now you see, just having a look back, it's really going back since the end of Jan. We've had quite a few tests of this point already, so I know the market is looking at it. Another one this morning with yesterday's low as well, so a break of that interests me quite a lot. And I think even from a more medium term trade, should we get below that point, it could really open the door, and I actually could even see a move back down to the low that we had on the 8th, which again has been respected a couple of times, around 68.44 and a half in the futures. I could see that coming quite quickly. So the idea, if we just zoom in to look at it in a shorter time frame, a bigger picture, would be really to look at price breaking that pivot, breaking the low of yesterday, almost on a retest of that break is what is support, would currently turn to resistance, and a push back down maybe to the support one. And also you've got quite a key level of the low of the week on the 11th there, the key double bottom. So that would be an interesting market that I'd be looking at. To the flip side, you've got the highs of the week, which have been getting lower. We've had 3 tests of that area. So should we get another test of that trend line, a positive cash open, the opportunity on the break of that towards the highs of the week is also something I quite like the look of. In between those trend lines, probably best to leave it alone unless there's further developments that come in from the trade talks. Another market I like the look of is the pound, and this level, I'm just going to put it onto a longer term chart, has been super well respected in recent times. You can see, if I just draw that line again, was resistance for quite some time before turning to support, and we finally for the first time had a daily close below there. So a retest of that area, even on an intraday perspective, I think would be a good opportunity to potentially find resistance for the drift back lower to test the lows of the week even. This morning we did have the retail sales data out of the UK, which was better, hence why the pound has just drifted higher this morning, although really struggling to confirm a push above that pivot as we just go back to the chart there. So I like the look of the 128.60 on the futures, previous support, now resistance to hold as that again. Do have some US numbers coming out in the afternoon or the morning for you guys in the States that I'd be aware of, but if they were to come in line or perhaps stronger, obviously with the Soma day as well, it wouldn't be too surprising to see us find resistance as the dollar strength comes back into the market. Having a look at the last sort of trade that I like the look of, more a dollar yen. Admittedly, we would have to come down a bit lower for this to come into play, but again, using the idea of a strong resistance trend, support trend line, also linking up with the S1 previous high of February as well to come into the mix, that it would be a good place to really continue the overall trend that the dollar yen has been on. Going that flash crash low from January, you can see we're way above that now. We've broken quite a key resistance point at the beginning of this week that had held at the back end of December. So a little drift down to continue that overall trend. I do like the look of that. So I'd be potentially looking to get long should we come back down to this area here. Hope you all have a good trading session and good weekend ahead of you guys.